Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the final day of January 2025. And the temperature out in the desert here is 35 degrees. It looks like it's 37 in town. I'm 3 miles outside of town. And there's really, I looked at the weather forecast, in particular the winds for the next 10 days. Tuesday and Wednesday, they pop a little bit for a couple hours, a little bit above 10 miles per hour, minor. Everything else is single digits for the next 10 days. And we have some interesting highs. Today is 69, which has been typical, but tomorrow is 75. And I'm going to rattle off consecutive highs, starting with Saturday. 81, 85, 83, 77, 76, 72, 73, 74, 72, 69, 67, 68, 68. Little wave of heat there that it's going to probably feel pretty good. We'll be outside more during the day and enjoying the desert that much more. So that is everything I have to say about the weather. Today is, I don't want to jinx it, but it's my last, it's less than 24 hours now. So it's, I think, 17 hours to go. And in 17 hours, I will be on Medicare and my Medicare supplement. I'm pretty excited about that. I'll hopefully be able to get my hip replacement and get probably more regular care from a doctor than I have gotten. I had an Affordable Care Act, high deductible thing. So basically that means unless disaster struck, I was paying everything out of pocket. It's going to be nice not to have to do that anymore. So I'm celebrating that at midnight tonight. Alrighty then, let's go into the comments. And we have on Mighty Mouse for Real, number 322, positive news. That was a little mouse that would routinely tidy up a guy's workroom. It was pretty cute to watch on hidden camera. Topaz Farmer Trail says, I saw that one. I love the story. So sweet. On the Big Tent Exodus, that was the title of a long form video I did. Thanks for the video today. I'm wondering how long after the Big Tent show is over do the vendors in Tyson Wells hang around? Well, there's seasonal vendors there, and they'll stay, through March usually. But then they're the ones that were in the back there for the Cellorama. They'll clear out of there and go to the next venue. And then after that, they'll go to the next venue. A lot of them just move from venue to venue across the country with the weather. So, Dee Dee Cornell says, good morning, Mr. Rob, Dottie, and George. Well, good morning, Dee Dee. George, Dee Dee Cornell says, good morning. And Dottie, how about you? Can you even open an eye? One eye. Just one eye, Dottie. Guess not. It's too early. What time is it? It's 7:10. 7:10. It's not that early. Come on, Dottie. Wake up. Cotty Wumple. I'm getting my first power station Friday. Kind of excited as it is. I have to run my car and engine for radio and not at night. I get a good deal on an Anchor 300. It has 60-watt solar panel, but not groundbreaking, but it's enough to get my foot in the door. List price was $370, but I got a discount. And price after that, it was applied, was $300. Baby steps, you bet. Dee Dee Cornell says, by the way, I'm a dude. I think I mentioned that from the screen name, and unless there's a picture of the person next to the screen name, I don't know whether it's a male or female. Your videos make a person feel like I'm there hanging out. All right. That's kind of the way I like it. Katie Hoke says, Rob, I don't know if it's the camera or what, but the sky looks extra beautiful in this video. It's because of the clouds. Rarely do you get those puffy cumulus clouds over the desert in the sun. Those are the clouds, and I noticed the same thing. Wordless, I just bought a $500 2001 Odyssey from a church to do van life. It's blessed and mechanical sound with about 40,000 miles on it. Fingers crossed, can't wait to hit the road. To my family's consternation, it's probably your fault. Your vids are too inspiring. Well, that sounds to me like that's one hell of a price on any kind of vehicle. And if it's mechanically sound, rock on. That sounds amazing. Cheap RV Living, the YouTube channel that Bob Wells founded, He's got several, if you're interested, several ways to build out a van without like building, like doing inexpensive modular stuff, if that's something that you're interested in. Stacy Jones says, what a beautiful sky. Yeah, it's the clouds. It's the blue in the clouds. Lisa Roth, one of my campmates, she says I have to say it's been really nice getting a full night's sleep rather than being woken up by incessant sounds of generators running all night. I didn't realize how much is getting to me into the first good night's rest I had after our part-time neighbors left. But she's talking about, if you're in the desert here in Quartzsite, let's say you come in November like I did, it's pretty peaceful and quiet right up until that big tent week comes, and then suddenly there are rigs all around you with music playing and generators, and you have to mentally and emotionally prepare for it, because you're going to have a week of, it's going to be noisy day and night. And then suddenly there's an exodus and they're gone. It's a yearly thing. Mighty Mouse, Ken Gray says, sharing that one with my friend who keeps pet mice. That's great. Ken Gray said, your thoughts sometimes echo mine. I actually asked a seller how they got the RVs from show to show once. Specialized RV transport company used large flatbed trailers to haul the RVs from place to place to keep the mileage on them down. That makes sense. The most I've seen on the road is I've seen trailers being hauled that way, and I've seen Class C's and vans hauled that way, and I've not seen one yet that has Class A's on them. I wonder how many Class A's, like 30, 40 footers, you can put on one trailer. 2, maybe? I don't know. Be interesting to see. James P60 says, I'm not brand specific, but I use a Blue Eddy EB70 and a AC180, smaller one for extra lighting and charging rechargeable items, and the 180 for bigger wattage items. Both work good, and the prices were right for my budget. I enjoy these comment videos that you do. Well, thank you, James. Enjoyed the call today. Thank you. I think he means he enjoyed this video, the comment call video. And I don't call it comment call because, as I mentioned, I got this idea from a viewer that watches Rusty, and Rusty calls his thing comment call. So I don't call it that because I feel like that's Rusty's. Rusty has that, he owns that term. Would you recommend La Posa South for a first-time goer into Quartzsite? Of course, yeah. No reason why not. There are no advanced skills required at La Posa South. And La Posa South, of the 4 LTVAs, it's the one with the, right now, this year, it's the one with all the amenities. If they get the new dump station, new water station going next year, the go-to will probably be more La Posa West, or Tyson, excuse me, not West. Scratch that. La Posa Tyson Wash across the road here. Haas, hey guys, I got a small solution to the poop hose jumping out of the sewer drain. My niece gave me a 5-pound bag of sand. Looks like it's shaped like a big green bullfrog. She got from a garden center. We sat on top of the 45-degree elbow that goes into the sewer drain. It covers up completely and holds it down. It looks better than the drain hose plug. I don't know. I don't know if they're easy to find, but it can be hard to make something similar. Have a good day and God bless. You know, usually what you find at those dump stations is rocks all around, and people wonder, why do they have rocks up here? So you can lean the rocks up against your sewer connection so it doesn't pop out. And a lot of people, if it's close enough, will put 1 foot on top of that when you get that first release of the liquid pressure going through the hose. After that release, it won't jump around. FSD at the Lake says, hey, Rob, you mentioned using an air fryer. I've been waiting to get one for the trailer. We've got limited counter space, and I can't decide which one to get. What are you using? And I gave her a link. I'll show you what I gave her. That's just the one in Amazon that I got. How much is it? It's aqua color. There's lots of colors you can get. 2.6 quarts for. It's on sale right now for $44.99. Alrighty. All right. Matthew McConaughey, right? Can you recommend, Papa says, can you recommend a tire repair shop in Quartzsite? Love your videos. And I basically said, yeah, there's only one. It's on Main Street. And I'm not sure of the name. So Google's your friend there. You'll find it very quickly. It looks like there's two in town, but one of them over by the Pilot, that's for trucks. They don't do cars there. But on the other side of the street, down a little further west, on the other side of the street is the Quartzsite tire place. Let's see. My layperson guide to RV solar. I put a Victron unit in the washer dryer space in my motorhome about 6 feet from my bed. I wish I had a clue how much noise these things make when they're charging or discharging. Luckily, I sleep with a white noise generator, or I'd never sleep. Mine are under my bed, so I don't hear them at all. They're in the compartment underneath my bed. I don't hear anything. Zareth the Alchemist says, now the big Q on the hill stands for quiet, and there's a lot less dust in the air now. Much quieter with the majority of the dune buggy crowd gone. Next year I'll wait until after the tent comes down before I come to town. The dust gave me the crud, and I've been horribly ill for over a week now. Hopefully I'm on the mend now and can enjoy Quartzsite's charm and her friendly full-time peoples. Thanks for the drive through town today, Rob. Greg Miller says, thanks for sharing, and you're welcome, Greg. And me and my 2RV says, hey, Rob, did you finalize a deal on the RV lot in Yuma you were interested in purchasing? Well, a couple things. That is a Escapees RV co-op. You can't technically purchase any lots there. What you do is you can purchase a lifetime lease on them. And the answer to that is no. I mean, there's certain qualifications. You have to be an Escapee member, I think, for at least 18 months. So I checked that box pretty easily. But you have to stay there, which I have not done. Then you need to take a tour. Then they'll accept your application. So I've been there to visit, but I haven't stayed a night there. So I need to stay a night there. And I need to take the tour. And I think that the purpose of the tour I'm going to get is get you familiar and get the people turn for a take on your personality. I would guess I would do that. So I don't know the timing on that. I'm looking at, there's more than one of these parks. There's 1, 2, 3 of them in Arizona, one in Nevada, a couple in California, one in New Mexico, and I'm looking at others. There's one near Phoenix that I'm definitely going to probably stay at and seriously consider sometime this spring. There's an older Discount Grocery on both Discount Grocery locations, and Ann Pickle says, hello, my first time visit. I seen your page. I thought I would check it out. Well, thank you, Ann. Was it Ann? Ann Pickle. Randy says, that was very relaxing, and maybe I'll miss the Big Tent this year. And maybe I'm glad I missed the Big Tent. Kathy J says, this comment is about who transports those RVs back and forth to the shows. Bob Wells interviewed a very interesting woman a few years ago who did that for a living. She drove to an area, dropped off the RV, then picked up another one and took it to its destination. She bought a tiny house and settled down when COVID swept across the country. Be interesting to find her again and get an update. Yeah, that's one of the things I did know is one method is they hire drivers quite a bit to drive these rigs from location to location. And I just wondered about the logistics. It's not like, you can move one from here to Phoenix and then have one that needs to go to Quartzsite from Phoenix. There'd have to be, logistically, there would have to be something worked out. And here's one of those little quirks. Her exact comment is there twice. It's just a little quirk in the system. It happens sometimes. Can you run RC off-grid for any chunk of time? I'm always curious about that capable. I would say, and the answer is yes, right? And let me qualify that. I have a 15,000 BTU air conditioner, which is pretty beefy. It's like way more than this little thing needs. It'll turn it into a refrigerator. Usually use a trailer that's, say, under 30 feet often will have a 13,500 BTU. This one's a 15 on a 21 footer. So I have a device called a soft start. I had an electrician or RV guy install it in there. So it's basically an extra capacitor that makes it so it doesn't require such a huge spike in energy to start it. So my batteries can or my inverter at 3,000 watts can easily handle starting it. Now running it, you know, when I'm running it with other stuff, it's easily going to be 2,000 watts, right? Let's say it's running all the time. Let's do a little bit of math here, gang. So we got 2,000 watts, right? Let's say it's 20, let's say it's running 2,200 watts. So 2,200 watts. And that's the AC going and maybe the TV and the microwave, not the microwave, excuse me, the TV and the Starlink and everything. So I'm sitting here nice and cool, air conditioning's going, 2,200 watts in an hour. Divide that by 12, and you've got 183 amp hours of battery, right? And let's say I start doing this in the middle of the day, my batteries are at 100%. How many hours if I want to just bite the bullet and go to zero? So I have 700 amp hours divided by 183. I'm in 3.8 hours, I'm done. I have no more energy left. And I sincerely doubt that I would make it 3.8 hours. I think it's safe to say I could run my AC for 3 hours, and then I'd have the dilemma with, okay, I'm going to have to crank up my generator and put juice back into my batteries. You know, if you're thinking, gee, can you have run AC in the middle of the day, peak sun, and have it not drain down your batteries? Sure. If you've got more solar than you can imagine and you're pulling in as much as, you know, you're able to pull in, you know, what did I say? 1,000 watts plus of solar constantly. And that's not really practical. So I hope that answers your question. I hope. And do I do that? I'd say I've done it for two reasons. I've done it because I was curious. And I've done it because here's the reality is, if I'm someplace off grid and it's so hot I need to run my AC, I'm going to do it with a generator, not my batteries. And it's not going to cost me that much in propane. You know, a full tank of propane on that big generator I have, I bet it'll run the AC for 6 hours, and I've got a spare tank, and it'll run it all day on, you know, I have 2 tanks that I've got devoted to that generator. So I'd have to switch out a tank halfway through, but still, that's all day. It's really hot up in the mountains someday, and it starts getting uncomfortable, but at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And so I fire up the generator, and I may run that AC until about 6 when it starts to cool down. So about 3 hours, run it on the propane. It might use half, 3/4 of the propane. Next day I'm out in the morning, I'll top off that tank, and I'll be ready to go the next day. But usually I'll just open the windows or sit outside in the shade and run. I've got fans I can run. It's pretty extraordinary for me to flip on the AC. The real reason I really love it, that I can run the AC on the batteries, is, let's say I'm in Eagle Nest where I spend the summers, and I need to do an errand, and I'm running all the way to Taos. It's an hour and 15-minute drive each way. and it's hot. It's not a boiling hot day, but it's hot enough so I don't want to leave Dottie in the car. I've got something I got to do there. I don't want to leave the engine running with Dottie in the car and leave it unattended for that long. So I go, okay, I'll leave Dottie home. And I get to Taos, and I get to the start of whatever appointment I have, and I get an alert from my phone that says the temperature has now exceeded 90 degrees inside the rig. Something, I forgot to open a window, didn't turn on the fan, or the temperature just was crazy different than from the forecast. Remotely, I can fire up that AC and be confident it's going to run for about 3 hours on the battery. And Dottie will be okay. As soon as I get back there, I'll hook up the generator, fire it off, and I'll run the AC. And with the generator, I can run the AC and charge the batteries simultaneously. So, was this way more information than you asked for? Probably. It was a simple question. It was from Van Campers, aka Van Campers, Alaska. Can you run AC off grid for any chunk of time? I was curious about that capable. You weren't expecting all that, were you? Orange Man Good. Did I chat with you next to the autograph van at the RTR? Probably. I was autographing it when you chatted for a few minutes. Anyway, you're the same person as you are on the silver screen, which says a lot for your character. Silver screen! I hope to see you next year. Same place, same time next year. Dave. Thanks, Dave. Cotty Wample, I think that SUV in front of you at the light construction was me with my floppy car carrier turning left at the light. Oh, I didn't notice. And I know your rig. Pamela Knoll says, Monday we're expecting our first snow. British Columbia, Canada. Ouch. And Pamela Knoll says, we don't all fit in your truck. Well, virtually you do. Virtually everyone fits. The Haunted Campers, good morning to you. That was 16 minutes ago. They're across the way from me, so they probably see my lights on. Jane Bray, I gave myself to Jesus in 2013 after he radically healed me of 4 kinds of depression, PTSD, chronic pain, and addiction. Since then, I don't get sick, and I quit all pharmaceutical drugs, and I prayed for others to see miracles. That's good news. And that can be very bad news for people with severe mental illness that you do. There are pharmaceuticals that really take a person's life that is they're unable to function and turn them into a functioning, happy human being. So religious things, I think a faith is wonderful, but it's not always a substitute for other kinds of help. You know, there's this old story about a guy that was devoutly religious, believed in God. It doesn't matter what denomination or what flavor, but he had a deep belief in God, and God would take care of him. And there was a flood in his town one day, and the police came and knocked on his door and said, you need to evacuate. The waters are coming. And he said, that's okay. I have faith. God will take care of me. And the police said, okay, it's up to you. And the flood waters came up and flooded the first floor of his house, and he went up to the second story, and the floodwaters started coming up, and the fire department had a boat, and they came by his second story window and saw him and said, hey, we're here to rescue you. And the guy said, that's so kind of you, but I'm God's going to take care of me. And they said, okay, it's up to you. And then the floodwaters got all the way up. He went up through the into the attic. There was a window out there. He climbed out that, and he scrambled onto his roof, and the water was coming to the roof, and a helicopter, the Coast Guard, came by, and they said, we're here to rescue you. And again, he said, you guys are so nice. God's going to take care of me. I really don't need your help because I have my faith in God. And the floodwaters came over the top of his roof, and he drowned. And he died. And he went to heaven. And when he got there, he was welcomed and warmly. And he said, I really need to talk to God. Can I talk to God? And they said, of course you can talk to God. They ushered him to where he could find God, and God said, how are you, my son? It's good to see you. He said, yeah, God, I'm pretty upset with you. And he said, son, why? What? Tell me why you're upset. He said that I believed that you would take care of me and you would help me and you would help guide me through my life. And this flood came and you were nowhere to be found. And God kind of leaned forward and said, son, I sent you a policeman, a fireman in a boat, and a Coast Guardsman in a helicopter. What more do you want from me? Love that story. No matter what you believe and who you believe in or what your religion is, faith is an important thing to have. I think it's also important to keep your eyes opening to the miracles that may be around you and may not look or sound the way you expect. Randy G says, good morning. Oh, good morning, Randy. That is on today's positive news video, and it's how they're estimating human beings, or they extended the life expectancy one whole more year. So I got another year. That's great. That's always good news. And then Randy looked at Mighty Mouse for Real on number 322, and she said, so very sweet. And that is all that I have for today. And it's going to be February 1st. In just a few hours. I'm so excited about that. It is good peace of mind when you know you have good health insurance when you're getting older and stuff happens. Like I tell you, my hip, it's very insidious, a bad hip, because the pain, you would think the pain, okay, if I have a bad hip, the pain's going to be right down here on my hip, and it's not. That's all what they call referred pain. And it makes you, it creates leg pain and lower back pain, upper back pain. And the latest one almost fooled me, because a few days ago I was like, there's a pain in my left leg on my shin. And I go, when I was in my 20s, I was a runner and I actually got shin splints. And this feels exactly like shin splints, but I hadn't run in many, many years. I don't run. I haven't taken any big hikes or anything. So sure enough, I look it up, and a large percentage of people with hip arthritis get shin splints because of the way you're trying to compensate for the bad hip. And right now, this morning, it feels pretty good. But boy, yesterday afternoon and last night, I had the over-the-counter pain meds plus the TENS unit. I had, for a couple hours, I had the electrical stuff. Sometimes I think that does good, and sometimes I don't think it does any good at all, and it's a gimmick. I have no idea which way it goes. But I'm certainly going to be glad to find out if I can get that surgery, when I can get it. But I won't find out until the 13th of February. So 2 weeks it's going to take me. What day of the week is February the 13th? What day of the week is, just curious. It's a Thursday. I'm going down to Yuma to meet with the surgeon. So that's going to be it today. We got, it's 28 minutes and 46 seconds, so 29 minutes. And if you're a rounding person, today's comment video was 30 minutes. And if you still listening to me talk, you're terrific. Thank you. I'm very grateful. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.